So GitHub Pages, we learned before, we can just create a GH Pages branch, right? And it'll just automatically be there. So here's the issue. This is what our project actually looks like. We have a node modules directory, a public directory, and a source directory, and then this stuff. So there's no root HTML page here. And even if we go inside source, well, sure, there's this stuff, but this isn't stuff browser understands, right? This is our actual React code with whatever that stuff's called. What's the JSX? I'm getting older. You know that thing we've been doing nonstop? So this isn't really the web browser version, right? And so far, we've just trusted that when we run npm start or yarn start, it does it for us. But notice here in the output of yarn start, note that the development build is not optimized. To create a production build, use yarn run build or npm run build. So what will that do? If we look in our package JSON, not only does it define our dependencies, it also defines a few scripts, like start. What npm start or yarn start is actually doing is running React scripts start. And we have React scripts available because it's one of our dev dependencies, because we use create React app. Build runs React scripts build. Okay, neat. Let's check it out. Let's run yarn build or npm run build. Creating an optimized production build, as promised. Okay. What actually happened? If we look at our directory structure now, in addition to those folders we already had, we have one called build. So it's a whole new folder. And inside there, I have index.html. I have this static directory that has CSS, JS, and media. Inside CSS, I see two files, main something.css and main something css.map. Let's click main something CSS. Oh, neat. It's one big long line. This is the minified version. And it's the minified version of all of our CSS. So we can manage them in separate files that are easy to read. But it's going to just smash them all together in as small a file as possible. And looking in that build folder again, I see a JS folder under static with main.js. Guess what? It's extra readable. That is all our JavaScript for the project. All of our components are in here. But now they're all in real JavaScript with all kinds of horrible looking parent node remove child, all that stuff. So all the hard work that React did for us got turned into real JavaScript. And it got smashed into this tiny file that the browser can actually deal with. So let's look at this output again of the build script. File sizes after gzip. 136K total for our JavaScript. Something tells me we had quite a bit more than that. So by making all of the variable names as small as possible, it can save quite a bit of bandwidth. Because remember, like, React itself is in there. All of our dependencies got smashed into this file. All the stuff that we imported. So that's all the JavaScript that we need. And we saw how many things we were relying on. Okay, this project was built assuming it is hosted at the server root. In other words, like localhost // not / something. To override this, specify the home page in your package.json. For example, add this to build it for GitHub Pages. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. And we saw before that our GitHub Pages URL is our username.github.io / some project name. So that's not the server root, right? So we better do this. Let's add this to package.json. So I'll put it right under name. I'll put homepage. And that would be xtbc17s2.github.io / noteherder. Whatever you named your repository on GitHub. And whatever your GitHub username is. The build folder is ready to be deployed. You may serve it with a static server. So this build folder, that's what we actually want to be on that GitHub Pages branch, right? That's the real site. But we don't want to have to manage that ourselves. That's a pain in the neck. When your GitHub Pages branch needs to hold completely different stuff from your main branch, let's let something else manage that for us. Thankfully, well, let's just see what happens if we run yarn build one more time. It shouldn't give us instructions for this anymore because we already did it. And I have a feeling that that build script is fairly smart because everything else seems to be. Ooh. Your project was built assuming it is hosted at /noteherder. Good. You control this with the homepage field. The build folder is ready to be deployed. To publish it at this GitHub Pages thing, run yarn add --dev gh pages. So we're adding a new package. And I assume if you're using npm, it tells you the npm command. Does it? So that would be npm install gh pages. In 5, I assume this still works, but it might just be --dev now. I'm not sure. Thanks. So again, when you run install or add, it not only adds it to the node modules directory, it also adds it to package.json, but this time under dev dependencies instead of dependencies. Why? Because this gh pages module doesn't need to be in the final built version. It's not an actual dependency of the app to run. It's just a script we're going to use when we're developing to handle deployment. But looking back at that output of build, it said to add gh pages and to add the following script in your package.json. So under the script section, we have all the stuff we already have, and then we have pre-deploy and deploy. All right, let's add these. So pre-deploy, npm run build. Deploy, gh pages -d build. So from now on, we can just run deploy instead of build, because there's this pre-deploy hook here that will automatically run build whenever we run deploy. So let's see what happens. Yarn run deploy instead of build, or npm run deploy. Command deploy not found because I hadn't saved. Try that again. So creating an optimized production build. So it's running our build script again before it deploys. Okay. Now it's running gh pages -d build. Published, it claims. So we expect it to be published at the URL that we put in homepage here. So let's go visit it. Let's see if it's all true. Holy smokes, it's true. So on our GitHub repo for NoteHerder. We should probably add the homepage URL here. Did I ever show you this the last time? Oh, yeah, okay. So click Edit under Website. Let's go ahead and paste that address. Now we're going to have problems when we actually try to run it, but we figured out how to deploy it. So I'm going to go ahead and commit that. Add GH pages for deployment. Cool. No, it's install instead of add.